Hello, Sip&Talkers, and welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
Hey, everyone. I'm just enjoying my coffee here. Sugar-free latte today.
Oh, nice. Well, don't spit it out, but you know we had to cancel our monthly Q&A, right?
I do. A scheduling thing?
Yeah, but we're doing this one today as a sort of a special compensation for an anonymous listener. So think of this as the Q&A replacement.
Oh, this should be good.
It is. So, do I look especially radiant today?
I would say your lipstick is about 1.5 standard deviations brighter than usual.
Huh. Always with the standard deviations. I'm in a good mood because we got this piece of feedback, and it was, well, it was a real trip. This listener, they started out by saying, and I'm going to do my dramatic voice here.
Oh, boy.
You guys are always saying bad things about Beijing. Stop it.
Okay, whoa, hold on. Before we go any further, I feel like we have to clarify something right here, right now. For everyone listening, our mission has never been to say who's good or who's bad. What we do here is present the facts. We analyze the logic behind them. We're here to give you information, not a position, to, break that information cocoon.
Exactly. You are 100% correct. We just want to get past the echo chambers. But the second part of their comment is what really got me.
Okay.
They said, but if you praise the CCP, your traffic will go through the roof.
Really, through the roof. Now, that is an interesting hypothesis. It touches on, content censorship, algorithmic bias, maybe even just audience curiosity.
Right. I was so energized. I mean, we do all this deep analysis, all this fact-checking, and maybe all we had to do was just praise Beijing to get a traffic explosion.
Right.
That's not the marketing logic I learned in Silicon Valley.
So what you're saying is, are our rational efforts worthless in the face of the algorithm?
Bingo.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's do a bold experiment.
What are you thinking?
Today, let's just try it. From start to finish, let's try to frame everything from a positive angle. Let's praise Beijing. And we can see if our numbers actually spike, like they said.
Okay. As, a rigorous content creator, I have to say we'll still use authoritative data. We'll still fact check. But we can adjust the narrative focus.
How so?
We can focus on the achievements and the advantages, and we'll test it. We'll see if purely positive content really does have more legs.
Awesome. So that's the theme for today. We're praising Beijing to see if this really is the traffic code. You ready? Let's embrace the flow with love and positive energy.
My fact-checking toolkit is on standby. I'm putting on my rainbow filter. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so let's start with the sheer glory of speed and scale, the economic transformation.
Let's call it the miracle machine.
It really is a miracle if you just look at the raw numbers. I mean, since the reform and opening up in '78, China's GDP jumped from 10th in the world to 2nd.
Which required a nearly 10% average annual growth rate.
Right.
For decades.
For decades. I mean, no other economy in human history has seen that kind of rapid, sustained, huge-scale growth. It's mind-boggling.
And what's really amazing is the mechanism behind it, that centralized power to just execute. This is where concentrating efforts on big tasks really shows its power.
And nothing shows that power more than poverty alleviation. The data says they lifted nearly 800 million people out of extreme poverty.
Which is 70% of the entire world's poverty reduction in that time.
70%. They hit the UN goal a whole decade early.
It's an achievement that, it deserves real recognition.
Right.
And it was driven by this precision poverty relief model. Basically, state subsidies and administrative orders funneled right to where they were needed.
And you can see it in the numbers. Rural per capita disposable income hit, 17,522 RMB in 2024. That's up almost 25% since 2021.
A huge jump.
That success is also reflected in just how fast they build things. People call them the infrastructure maniacs for a reason. Look at the high-speed rail.
It's a global phenomenon.
It is. The world's longest network. They hit 48,000 kilometers in 2024, which is 70% of all the high-speed rail on the planet.
And they're on track to pass 50,000 next year.
This China speed is real. They can build a whole line faster than other countries can even get the permits approved. It creates these 8-hour economic circles, super efficient.
Okay, that speed is definitely compelling. But now, we have to bring in the balance. We have to talk about the cost of that speed.
Right.
That state-led, investment-heavy model, it's starting to show some cracks. Growth is slowing down. It's projected at about 4.5% for 2025. It's just so reliant on investment and exports, not so much on people buying things at home.
The machine needs constant fuel from the outside.
Exactly. And that crazy infrastructure speed, it comes with a massive debt warning. Local government debt is over 300% of GDP now.
300%. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, building 70% of the world's high-speed rail doesn't come cheap, and that debt is going to be a drag on everything for a long time.
So what about the poverty numbers? Are they, sustainable?
That's the million-dollar question. The achievement was amazing, but because it relies so much on subsidies, there's a big vulnerability there.
Yeah.
You still have high relative poverty.
Meaning?
Well, about 15.2% of the population is still under the $8.30 a day mark.
Mm-hmm.
And the risk of people reverting to poverty is real. Mm-hmm. Over 5 million people still need continuous aid. It was a gold medal sprint for sure, but the marathon is another story.
And the high-speed rail. That feels like such a clear win.
It's impressive, but it also points to some serious resource waste. You've heard of the ghost cities, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens when centralized planning prioritizes just building stuff over actual demand.
Yeah.
And the ongoing investment, 590 billion RMB for railways in 2025 alone. That just keeps adding to the debt pile.
So a powerful machine, but maybe a brittle one.
Okay, let's pivot. That economic speed needs huge central coordination. So let's celebrate that coordination segment too. The glory of control and stability.
Right. The Iron Army style of governance. When you praise Beijing, you have to praise the ability to maintain stability, to just get things done without endless debate. Look at their crisis management.
The world definitely saw that during the pandemic. The lockdowns were decisive. They achieved a low initial mortality rate that a lot of Western governments just couldn't manage.
And they seem to learn fast. There's a new public health emergency response law for 2025 that streamlines everything. This central control is why they can pull off huge events like the Olympics or the 2 sessions meetings without a single problem. It's control in action.
And that stability is built on a technological foundation, which brings us to what you call the iron bucket level safety.
Yes. The Skynet security system, it's a technological marvel. They've rolled out over 700 million surveillance cameras.
700 million.
That's 1 camera for every 2 people. And the result for the average person, ultra-low crime rates, like 0.46 per 100,000 people. You feel genuinely fearless walking around, that's a huge selling point.
Okay, here we have to pause again and really unpack the cost of that control. Because while the mobilization is fast, the early information delay in the pandemic got huge global criticism. Transparency was sacrificed for control.
The classic risk of central power. Delay bad news to avoid panic.
Precisely. And the system can get distracted. We saw data about recent outbreaks of mosquito-borne diseases like over 16,000 cases of chikungunya fever that exposed monitoring gaps. The all-seeing eye isn't looking everywhere at once.
So the safety net has holes. What about the amazing surveillance system?
That's the double-edged sword. That system you praised, it enables predictive policing. It uses AI to track key figures, activists, minorities.
Right.
And it can trap thousands in what people call a digital cage. They can't travel, can't participate in public life. For most people, it's safety. For the monitored few, it's a prison.
It really changes what freedom means.
And that connects directly to internet control. The Great Firewall is praised for creating a pure space, but what it's filtering is dissent. You have hundreds of journalists jailed. AI is programmed to deny that things even happened, like 540 labor protests in 2025. The cost of that safety is a huge erosion of freedom.
Wow. The shift from fearless safety to digital cage is stark. Okay, let's move to segment 3. Let's look up the glory of height, technology, and the space race.
Now we're talking about long-term strategic planning for national prestige.
Exactly. The government is pouring money into AI, 5G, quantum computing. The AI market alone is approaching 600 billion RMB with like 15.6% annual growth. This is patient capital aimed at winning the future.
And you can see the results. The 2025 launch of the 4th-gen Wukong quantum computer.
Yeah.
It's consolidating their lead in these really strategic frontier areas.
But the ultimate display, the ultimate proof they can concentrate efforts on big tasks is the space program.
The crown jewel.
Totally. The Tiangong space station, probes to the moon, missions to Mars. It's the peak of national pride. It's world-class, cutting-edge stuff.
It absolutely is the grand narrative.
Yeah.
Now we have to bring it back down to earth. This is the core conflict of our little experiment today. The grand narrative versus individual welfare.
Hit me with the data. What's the catch?
The contrast is...
Okay.
It's pretty sharp. The country is number 2 in total GDP, right?
Mm-hmm.
But its per capita GDP ranks around 60th in the world. The total power is huge, but the individual slice of the pie is much, much smaller.
That's a jarring contrast for the second biggest economy on the planet.
It gets sharper. Over 600 million people have a monthly income of only about 1,000 RMB.
Which is what, like $140 US?
Roughly. And when you put that number next to the billions being spent on a space station, the resource priorities become very, very clear.
Wait, hold on. So the nation can launch probes to the far side of the moon, but hundreds of millions of its own people are making about $140 a month. That's the whole tension right there. High-tech glory and low-income reality side by side.
And that is the ultimate reflection of this experiment, is a grand national narrative, space stations, GDP, military might, the same thing as the happiness and wealth of the average person.
It suggests that the resources for these great state artifacts are resources that can't be used for, small livelihood matters, like better healthcare or education or retirement.
Precisely. The cost of that immense national glory is often carried by the people at the bottom.
So when the country's rockets are soaring, the young people on the ground might just be lying flat, tang-ping, because they feel hopeless about things like housing prices and the 996 work culture.
The national achievement doesn't necessarily translate into personal opportunity. The data suggests a real disconnect there for a lot of people.
So our preliminary conclusion from this experiment seems clear. Praising national achievements is a powerful story. It probably gets a lot of clicks. But the second a fact checker brings up per capita income, the story gets really complicated and incomplete.
And to sum up the bigger picture, all these superiorities we highlighted, the speed, the scale, they all come from this very efficient top-down design.
But speed without guardrails can be dangerous.
Correct. Without strong democratic oversight, without transparency, the risks like corruption or human rights costs, they get magnified. And they almost always hit the most vulnerable people the hardest.
And we just want to re-emphasize our goal here at Sip&Talk. This wasn't about criticizing or discriminating against anyone. It was about providing objective facts, both the glory and the cost, to encourage you, our listener, to think for yourself.
Which leads to one final thought for you to chew on. True superior governance isn't just about scale or speed. It's about the ability to self-correct. It's about ensuring power is supervised. And that innovation serves people, turning that bright technological light into warmth for everyone, not a burn for a select few.
A balanced perspective is always the best one. We just provide data for reference.
Thanks for joining us on this. A very experimental deep dive today. Genuinely curious to see what happens with the traffic.
Me too.
Yeah.
And hey, be sure to subscribe to Sip&Talk wherever you listen. And also check out our friend Mickey's YouTube channel, Mickytolife, for some fun memes and his latest travel vlogs.
He's great.
He is. We'll see you all next time.